Okay, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Running a cake business with kids is hard. I mean, just simply raising kids in itself is hard. But raising kids and trying to run a successful home bakery business, yeah. I mean, I assume that you probably already know this, and that's probably why you're watching this video. You're trying to figure out, how the heck do I manage my household with children and run a successful home bakery business? Well, for each of us, it's honestly going to look differently. But over my years of running my cake business with kids, I found ways that can make it a little bit easier. It's not going to be perfect, but it is doable. And I just want to give you a little encouragement and share some things that may help you in this video. So first, if you are feeling like you're constantly behind and there's just no way that you're able to do this, let me let you know that you are not alone. Even now for me, 6 years into the business, having my husband at home with me, I still struggle so much with feeling overwhelmed and frustrated with how the heck am I supposed to get all of this done while having these young babies. Now, don't get me wrong, before people try to get going, I absolutely love my kids, okay? I absolutely love that I'm able to do what I'm able to do while keeping and having my kids at home with me. But it does not negate the fact that this is hard. There have been many times where I have broken down in tears, felt frustrated and hopeless. A lot of things that should only take you a short amount of time actually ends up taking you a lot of time because you're having to stop in between to care for your kids. I find myself in situations where I have to try to figure out or just where I'm getting down on myself because man, all these other people are able to do so much, and it's not fair because they don't have kids, so they're able to do this, that, and the other, and here I am trying to make this all work and trying to put it together. So you are not alone in your feelings of frustration, of your feelings of stress. And I just want to reiterate again that having these feelings does not mean that you despise your kids in any way, shape, or form. It's just natural feelings that we as moms and parents go through while trying to run a business. But while it's all so overwhelming, sometimes I have to stop and pause and remind myself that I just can't do it all, and I can't do it all in the ways that people without kids do. But I can do it. And I have, and you have as well. So let's go ahead and jump into some practical ways that can help us as mommy bakers be able to successfully run our cake businesses while also taking care of our kids. So my first tip is to involve your kids in what you do or work around them. We get to be parents, and it is such a treasured gift and responsibility that we have. And I will never promote neglecting your kids to try to make a few dollars. But what we can do is include our kids or work around our kids and our families in our schedules. So one thing that I've been really trying to do with my son is allowing him to be able to work with me. Now, this doesn't mean, because he's only 2, this does not mean letting them actually have hands-on experience with making your products, because let's be real, kids are kids. So I'm not saying to actively let them participate in your baking unless they're old enough to handle it. Then yes, very much so, let them be hands-on in your baking business. But if you have younger kids like me, letting them be a part can look like setting them up with their own bowl of flour and measuring spoons, and let them scoop and play alongside of you while you're working. So then it feels like for them oh, I'm baking with mommy, I'm working with mommy. It keeps them in your presence, you're doing something together, and it's also a great activity that's going to build and develop their skill sets. So some other examples of what this could look like is just setting them up with a bunch of pots and pans and bowls with water or flour, whatever you feel comfortable with. Know and understand that yes, your kids are going to make a mess. Yes, there is going to be a mess. So make sure that you're allowing them to have access to things that you feel comfortable with and that you're okay with cleaning up afterwards. But yeah, let them work with you. And if you have kids who are old enough to actually help you in your business, some great things for them to do is to help you get all of your supplies together. Do some math with them and let them practice weighing and measuring out ingredients. Let them get some of that energy out by hand mixing some of your items or rolling out some fondant, whatever it may be. Again, just finding creative ways to incorporate them into your business allows them to have access and time and space with you, their parent, but it's also a fun activity for them to grow and develop some nice skills. Something that I originally did in my business with my twins when they were younger is that I actually tried to work around their schedule. I had my daily schedule set, which again, if you have kids, you know how that can be. But as much as possible, I tried to keep us on a schedule. So I had time set out for nap time. I would try to get as much done as I could. I would bake, I would prep anything that I could while they were napping. Also, there were times where they had independent playtime. So while they're playing upstairs, I would then use that time to do things for my bakery business. And again, if you scroll way back into my videos, there's a lot of day in the life videos that I have that kind of show this process and how I managed and how I juggled it. I'm personally not and never have been a fan of staying up late and waking up super early to run my business. That is just something that has always been a boundary for me, that I will not do that. I need my sleep. I enjoy my evenings and my night times and my mornings. Those times are off limits for me. But for you, that may be something that actually works well. So working while your kids are asleep and before they wake up can give you more time to run and manage your home bakery business. So as mommies and as bakers and cake makers and decorators, we are already creative people. So we are able to find creative ways to incorporate or work around our family and our kids' schedules to be able to have a successful business. And again, remember, this may not be perfect, but it is possible. You can do it. So my next tip is to stretch your timeline and outsource when and where you can. So an easy way that you can do this without having to actually spend money is to spread your work over a few days. So you have a day where you prep all of your ingredients. You have a day where you shop for all of your ingredients. You have a day where you bake and you decorate and you deliver. Each day has its own kind of structure and flow to it. And that way you're not trying to cram everything into one day, which is also a technique that you could do, honestly. But it allows you to utilize those spaces and moments that work around your kids or with your kids' schedules, that then allows you to be able to get everything done that needs to be done by the end of the week. But going back to that thought of just doing everything on one day, if you have some type of help or somebody there, maybe it works best for you to just take one whole day, just block off one whole day, and this is mommy's day to work and get everything done. That's another option for you if that's what works for you in your schedule. Because again, this is your business, this is your family, you know what works best, so you get to curate the schedule and the flow to your business. So you can break it up in multiple days, or you can just take one day to get it all done. And this actually leads me into another tip around this, and that's actually hiring help. I don't know if you can hear that, but my kids are going crazy in the background right now, but they're okay. Okay, dad is with them. He got this, he can handle it. Okay, so we're gonna keep rolling. Just ignore. I mean, we're talking about moms here, right? So you get it, you get it. Anyways, so it rolls me into my next thought of hiring help. Now, this can go in many different ways, okay? Yes, this does take money, but what I've personally learned, some of these things don't actually cost as much as we think it costs, right? And I'm gonna be the first to say, it's not easy to spend your money to get help with something that you may feel as a mom is your job and your duty. You may feel like it's cheating, like it's a shortcut. Let me encourage you that you're not. But let me also acknowledge the fact that it's hard to make that mindset shift. I know these things, but some of these things I still personally have not implemented because I just didn't grow up in that way. It's such a new and foreign concept and idea to me that it is hard for me to put the pieces together to do some of these things. So one thing, which is actually, this is something that I actually did end up doing with my twins before I had my son, is to pay to put your kids in some kind of daycare or preschool. Okay, now this is very touchy and just a very tough topic, I feel like, because for me personally, my mind is always fearful of someone not treating my kids properly. So this was a very, very hard step for me to take, but I did my research And I found a place that I felt 100% comfortable with to allow my kids to go to. And I would say, looking back on it, that I don't regret that decision and that choice at all. And I'm actually looking forward to it with my son once he gets old enough. This may be going a little off tangent, but I paid for my kids to go somewhere, and I drove them far to get to the place that I was okay with them going. So I didn't just choose something that was around me and close to me, because none of the places I felt were the right fit for me and my family. So we did drive a ways to and fro to take my kids to this specific daycare. It was a Montessori school, but it was well worth it for me to have peace of mind to know that not only are my kids being properly cared for, but they're also learning and developing skills that are going to help them throughout life, and they're being prepped and ready for when they're school age. Don't feel that you just have to go drop them off to the closest place. Like, actually take time to do due diligence, because more than anything, your kids' safety is the most important. So take the time to do the due diligence of choosing a place that is right for your kids. And it was very tough at first taking them to another place, but I saw how it benefited them, and I saw how it benefited me as a mom. And it was just a few hours a day that they would go, but those few hours just really made such a huge difference. So if you're able to, that is something that you can consider. The next option, which is something that I've actually been considering with my son, is to hire a nanny. So you don't have to send your kids outside of your house to some other area, but you can bring someone into your home to fulfill kind of that same role. Just a couple of hours, a few days a week, to give you that time and that space to be able to run your business uninterrupted. Other benefits of having a nanny is that your child gets to stay in your home with you. So you have direct access to see everything that's going on, and you can step in when needed. And your child could potentially feel, safer too, being in their normal environment and still having access and proximity to you. So that's another option that I've been considering. I haven't done it, but I have been considering. But again, it's just so hard choosing people to care for your kids. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. And this flows into the next tip of being strategic with what needs your hands and things that can be passed on. That may look like hiring a virtual assistant to handle all of your communications with your customers and clients. That could look like hiring somebody to come in and actually bake up all of your cakes and cupcakes and cookies throughout the week for you. That could also look like just hiring somebody, if you choose to go to markets, to run your market stand for you, so then you can still stay at home with your kids. There are so many things out there, which I'm going to discuss in another video, that can just really make your business so easy. We just have to take a step back and find those ways that work best for us as moms who are running our home bakery businesses. My last set of tips is to just give yourself grace and be adaptable. Like I said in the beginning of this video, being a mom is hard. Running a business is hard. Being a mom and running your business at the same time is hard. So give yourself grace and know that you are doing the best that you can. It may not look like other people's, but the season that you are in is so special and so important to your journey. So don't despise it, and instead embrace it and know that you are doing a great job. And if things just feel so out of whack, consider adjusting what you offer. That may look like making a smaller menu, not having so many flavors, spacing out your time in between events, diversifying the events that you choose to do, but just figuring out areas in your business that you can adjust to make it work for you, your business, and your family. And speaking of diversifying, this is another tip that is very near and dear to me, but that's diversifying your income, diversifying or mixing up the way that you're able to make money in your business. That can look like creating content, running affiliate links, selling digital products, hosting decorating classes, attending markets, doing pre-sales, pop-ups. Diversifying the way that you make your money is such a huge game changer for me and my business. In those moments where I'm not actively selling cakes, I have so many things that are set up in the background that are running that helps to generate me income. I took a whole year off with my son, and I was still able to earn a full salary by doing nothing. But it's because I diversified my income and set up things that run in the background that still generates income for me. And I'm so thankful that I chose to do those things. And if it's something that fits and aligns with you and your business and your style and your family, then I would highly suggest that you take time to really look into that and see what's possible for you. This doesn't mean that you have to give up your baking and your decorating and selling and all of that, but it's just something to add on to supplement in those times where you need to take a step back, where you need to take a break, right? Or just selling cakes doesn't align with the way that your family's schedule is set up at this moment. I'm happy to help you in any way possible. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'm gonna do my best to try to work through all of your questions and answer them for you, because this is something that I truly believe in. And this all leads into just being adaptable. At the end of the day, you know this as being a parent, things don't always go as planned and as expected, and so you have to adapt. Take that same mindset in with your business. You get to make the rules. You get to choose how things go and how things run. So be adaptable. There are going to be seasons that you're going to go through. There are going to be seasons that are easier than some, and there are going to be seasons that are a bit tougher than others. So you just have to be ready to adapt and kind of just move with the flow and make changes where changes are needed. You don't have to be the super mom or the super business owner all at the same time. You may be in a season where the season asks for softness and strategicness, and that's okay. Remember that you're not behind. You're not doing horrible. You're doing something that's super, super important and incredible. This is my first video in what I hope to be like a 2 to 3 part series for moms running cake businesses. So if you haven't already, be sure that you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next one. And let me know in the comments below what helps you to be able to juggle it all. And remember, you are not alone in this. You can do it. And I'm here to help you along the way. You guys are awesome. So until next time, peace.